Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome back to my weekly Dragon Oracle card series. So I am live on YouTube, getting used to this platform. Um, so how is everybody doing? How was everyone's week last week? Mine was good. Lots going on. I'm enjoying the daily spirit animal oracle cards as well. So hopefully you're enjoying that too. So for this week, the week of December 28th, 2025, QUAN YIN'S Pink Dragons are the oracle card for this week. QUAN YIN'S Pink Dragons. So these dragons bring firm love that resets our karmic balance. See all of your cords dissolved by transcendent love and enjoy your freedom. Look for the divine around you. So this is another card that has come through for the second time. QUAN YIN'S Pink Dragons have made an appearance before. So this is the 8th time that a card has come through for the second time. And QUAN YIN'S Pink Dragons, the biggest impression coming through with this card, again, the cards that come through for a second time, when I tune in and I ask them why they're coming through again, it's to get to a deeper level of healing, a deeper level of healing with the messages that are coming through. So, biggest impression is, again, a lot of these cards coming through because of the time of year, the solstice season, winter into the spring, the end of 1 year into a new year. We're in this contemplative, reflective, receptive, hibernating kind of place right now. And QUAN YIN'S Pink Dragons were actually comparing it kind of to that first spirit animal oracle butterfly that came through with that. We're kind of in that chrysalis stage of the butterfly where we're really changing the structure of ourselves to be prepared to fly into our new year as our new selves, and our new dragons, our new butterflies. So there's kind of this resetting of everything energetically, narratives, mindsets, frameworks, inherent biases, all aspects of our energy field, our energy channels, and even the QUAN YIN'S Pink Dragons are even letting me know that this is happening with us, and they are helping us to reset ourselves biologically as well. So on a cellular level, on a cellular level, on a molecular level, resetting our nervous system. So as we welcome in QUAN YIN'S Pink Dragons into this healing experience for us, they are inviting us to really embrace, enhance, take in, absorb, soak in like a sponge their energy into our skin, our bones, our muscles, our nerves endings, our nervous system, all of our internal organs, our brain, everything, lungs, heart, kidneys, bladder, everything, muscular structure, tendons, and all. And really let them do their thing and just let it wash through us. I think this was similar to something else that came through. I don't know if it was last week with the rainbow dragons, but just letting that wash through us, around us, within us, through us, to kind of clear out and help just reset everything. So while we're working intentionally on those frameworks and thought patterns and narratives, QUAN YIN'S Pink Dragons want to help us um, really get to the little, nooks and crannies and corners of our energy field and really help uproot it from that way as well. Because, as souls having human experiences, our energy field is always flowing. It's always around us, through us, within us. And as we interact with other people, as we interact with our environment, there's an energy exchange that goes on. And sometimes there can be, through our experiences, some residual energy. I sometimes refer to it as the charged energy of an experience. And that could be a positive, happy, joyful experience, or it could be a traumatic experience. And so, if there has not been an opportunity for that expressed energy to move through our energy field in an aligned, grounded way and be completely, and that cycle of energy moving through to be complete, then sometimes that residual charged energy can linger and it can build up as we have new experiences that are similar. And so over time, this can kind of slow down or interfere with our natural energy flow. So you've heard me kind of talk about this relative to how clearing and healing symbols work, but Spirit and QUAN YIN'S Dragons wanted me to just highlight that again as to let us all know what they're helping with. So these residual energies can sink in even on that deep of a level into our cellular structure, into our physiological selves. So as we've been doing all of this healing and ascending and working on letting go of all of these belief systems that don't fit us any longer, as humanity is ascending and our vibrational frequency is rising, those lower frequency energies are not sustainable. They're getting stirred up. So we might be feeling a lot of that. Things might not be feeling so settled or so smooth. So it's good to be in this sort of divine, feminine, receptive state and letting ourselves kind of marinate in that and just kind of find our still point so we can reset and get ready for the new year. One of the kind of imagery that came through as I was pulling this card relative to these messages, it's almost like QUAN YIN'S Pink Dragons want to help us find that still point within ourselves in that reflective, contemplative state, like finding that still point before we get to be catapulted into the new year, into our new selves. So there's this kind of like a retreating in a way, but not because we've been defeated. It's just like a recognition of time to kind of step back into a grounded stillness and let that healing happen. Let it happen and trust our higher consciousness to know what needs to go and where it's being released from. Again, we don't need to articulate it. We just need to hold the intention to let it go. And Spirit is suggesting, having me mention to suggest that if there are certain areas in your physical body that if you're sitting in this still point, whether it's just an awareness that you happen to have in a particular moment, or whether it's in an intentional meditation, If your attention and awareness is drawn to a particular part of your physical body, tune in to what your inner wisdom is telling you to do. The suggestion here from Spirit and from QUAN YIN'S Pink Dragons is to invite healing energy in this intention to move through that area of your body. So I know sometimes in yoga classes that I've been in, the instructor will guide you to breathe through that part of your body that you happen to be stretching. So in a similar way, invite that energy into that breath work and into that part of the body. Invite that healing energy. And I typically start with a golden frequency of healing energy. But if your imagination, if your spirit, which is your imagination, our spirits communicate with us through our imagination. If your spirit is showing you a different color or an image or a situation or circumstance that's helping you to breathe through and relax in and welcome in this healing energy, then use that. Go with that. That is just for you from your spirit. So this is how QUAN YIN'S Pink Dragons want to help us go deeper with this reset. So there is the acknowledgement of all the work we're doing to bring ourselves back to that neutral, grounded place before we begin this new year. And they want to help us go deeper on a more physiological, cellular, biological level. Of course, if there are any medical conditions that you are experiencing, um, seeking a medical doctor is also advised if you are so aligned, if you are so inclined to do that. Definitely do that. This is a supportive opportunity for whatever you are currently doing to manage any existing medical situations that you're working on with your human body. So, yeah, my name is Gia, and I am an intuitive. I'm a psychic energy reader and healer, and I do healing and reading sessions for clients on all kinds of things. Um, if you would like to work on a more personalized way with QUAN YIN'S Pink Dragons, feel free, please, to reach out to me, and I will offer a discount on that reading for you. It would be a 30-minute reading, which is typically $50 for me, but I'll offer a 50% discount on that. You can contact me anytime this week, and I'll offer that discount, and we can schedule the reading for any time. It does not have to be scheduled within this week. Just reach out within the week, and I will look at the calendar together with you, and we'll see what works. All right, so back to the messages. So I just want to make sure I took some notes. Yeah, so I did. I touched on everything that was coming through. So just getting to that deeper level. So as I'm taking a look at this image, yeah, just taking a look at this image. I don't know if you can kind of see the finer details of like the petals and things that are kind of flying around here. Meditating on that, that's the kind of, the blood cells moving through our blood vessels and arteries and veins, and just grounding in to that still point experience and letting that healing wash through, around, and over us. And again, just intending that healing to be integrated into our physical human selves, um, as we continue to work on the energetics with our intentions. So just making sure I'm not missing any other messages that want to come through. Yes, I knew there was one other thing that I was forgetting that came through. So the work we've been doing, the cards that have been coming through, we are integrating our higher consciousness wisdom into our everyday lives. It is becoming more and more um, normal and natural for us to be spirit led in that way. And as we're doing that, and as we are incorporating this intention of finding that still point within ourselves, this is what also can help us come into the present moment. So if we are doing that at times when we might be feeling unsettled or vulnerable or a little bit off balance, QUAN YIN'S Pink Dragons want to remind us that we can always look for that still point within ourselves, and that will help bring us to that present moment. Again, breathing through that still point. And you can't see what my hands are doing, but I'm sort of naturally being guided and pointing at my heart center. So many of these cards are having my awareness go to the heart center, because this is where Spirit wants to encourage us to have this intention from this heart-centered place. And heart-centered as an expression of that state of being outward, but also heart-centered from that place of reverence of self, so that we can make sure we bring into that awareness our worthiness of the healing that is going on. And so finding that still point in that heart-centered place brings us into the present moment. And when we are able to be in the present moment, so this is relative to seeing all your cords dissolved by transcendent love. So cords, energy cords, they happen naturally as we interact with other people, other places, and things. Like everything has an energetic signature. And as we move through the world and interact and engage with things, our energy interacts, and there's energy cords that just help facilitate communication as souls having human experiences. We can also be corded to family, and that can be a positive thing, but it can also be something that can interfere with our ability to be energetically sovereign and self-sufficient in managing our own energy fields. And so when we, relying on that higher consciousness wisdom that we've been cultivating, the relationship with, the integration of, partnering with that intention, we are able to dissolve these cords that are not serving us, the ones that are kind of holding us back in terms of being able to, again, the phrase that comes is that energetic sovereignty, that self-sufficiency, that ability to discern, is this intention mine, or is this intention influenced by this potential uh, relationship or courted situation? And this might not happen always on a conscious level. Sometimes it might be a bit on a subconscious level, but um, Kuan Yin's pink dragons are wanting us to know that as we do this deeper healing, this is helping to facilitate dissolving those cords. And transcendent love here is not love as an emotion like I love you, I love you, you love me, but love as a state of being, love as a state of being. And when we are in that neutral present moment, this is that heart centered place of intention always. So when we are able to return ourselves to that still point, to our heart center, to that neutral place, that experience of love is a state of being, and it's not a conditional thing. Um, and so there's that first example, so to speak, of um, not being connected to or so invested in the outcome of a circumstance, a situation, a desired outcome relative to a particular action or decision. So this came up before with this card. And so think of it like, a lot of times our nurtured definition of expressing love is conditional, right? A lot of times, there's that like it's often relate directly to relationships, like a partnered relationship or a family relationship, or animals in our family. There's that expression of love. Oh, I love you so much. I love you, mom. I love you, dad. I love you, big sister, big brother, little sister, little brother, cousin, you know. And sometimes when you think about that, there's that little part of ourselves that is expecting to hear the same thing back to us. And so that in and of itself is um, a conditioned framework around love. Like it's not a conditional thing. If I am not invested in the outcome of me telling someone else that I love you, if I'm coming from that purely neutral heart-centered place, then there's no expectation in return. It doesn't matter what that other person says or not, because it's not a conditioned expectation when I'm coming from that heart-centered place. So when we are really attached and invested in the outcome, we create conditions around it that, in theory, define the right way to get to our desired outcome, which in and of itself excludes so much expansive possibility of that. So transcendent love is that love as a state of being, not a conditioned emotion. Um, so when we are able to accept the invitation of Kuan Yin's dragons to really go deep with this, then as those cords release, as those cords, connections, investments in desired outcomes of choices and decisions and behaviors, as those things release, we're actually gaining freedom from that, freedom from the limitations of those conditions. So when we're able to do that, to have freedom from those conditions, then we are going to be able to see the divinity that lies within everything, including within ourselves. So we won't feel a need to be validated by a returned expression of I love you, because we already are in that awareness of that state of being love, right? So when we are recognizing that we are love already, then we've got everything we need in that regard. So, yeah, that was the other big message coming through. So, yeah, so Kuan Yin's pink dragons want to help us really heal and release on this physiological level. And they want to help us to return to this natural state of love as a state of being and not an expressed emotion. Beautiful. All right. So I am still being guided to look at symbols for this series. So I am going to do that now. I'm not going to pause the recording because this is live. So as I tune into this symbol, I would encourage you to just think about how these messages sit with you in your own life right now. Bringing firm love that resets your karmic balance. That's the energy, our energy signatures, resetting all of that, getting it back to that still point for that release. We're kind of in that chrysalis stage, like the butterfly, where we're really letting go of the previous existence and metamorphosizing into our new selves. See all your cords dissolved by transcendent love. So, what kind of connections, relationships that you have a vested interest in, a desired outcome of, what might that look like, letting go of your desired outcomes and being more present in those relationships. And it's not necessarily just a partnered intimate relationship. It could be, like I said, family, sibling relationships, community relationships, your neighbors, things like that. And what would freedom from that look like if you didn't have those such vested interests and focused, limited definitions of desired outcomes of relationships? What would freedom from that look like for you? And being able to see the divinity within everyone and everything around you and within yourself, what might that look like for you in your current life experiences? So, okay, just going to I'm just going to go silent for a bit, tune into what this symbol is, and then I will share with you as I get the information. So on this day, December 28th, 2025, I'm asking Kuan Yin's pink dragons to show me a symbol that represents aligned energy that would be helpful for us to look at today relative to the intentions of this physiological reset and healing and release, and moving into a state of expressed love as a state of being and not an expressed emotion. So the symbol that's coming through, it's a tuning fork. And I'm seeing that we've struck the tuning fork and we're holding it up in the air and we're waiting for something. So I'm just going to go ahead and ground this tuning fork. It's got the two prongs on it and the one handle. It is metal, obviously. And I'm grounding this to the magnetic core of Mother Earth. On this day, December 28th, 2025. And in my healing practice, working with symbols, we do what we call present timing this symbol. So we just bring the energy of the symbol into the present moment, because this symbol is representing energy that is outdated, that needs to be looked at, potentially to be moved out of the way so that our energy flows can resume as they are intended, aligned and harmoniously with each of us. And I do look at these symbols as intended for the group of us, for anyone that will be watching this video. So bringing the energy of this symbol into the present moment, December, and this day in this moment, December 28th, 2025, grounding to the center of the earth, and infusing this symbol with golden healing energy. I always start out with golden frequency of energy. It is a high vibrational frequency of energy. Sometimes Spirit guides me to include or use different frequencies, and I do that as guided. So what is this symbol representing? I'm asking QUAN YIN'S dragons, what does this symbol represent? So this is a representation of spiritual perfectionism. So gosh, I can't really think of, I mean, I can only really speak for my nurtured culture growing up in America, but there's so many conditions on love, what it's supposed to look like, who you're supposed to love, how you're supposed to love them, how you're supposed to love yourself, what that's supposed to look like. If you love yourself too much, there's conditions on that, like you don't want to be judged as being like egotistical or self-centered or, you know, stuck up or something like that. There's so many conditions on the concept of love that's nurtured into, again, I'll just speak for myself, so many conditions, so many specifics. Like there's a rule book, like where's the rule book on, you know, what love is supposed to look like? So no wonder. So metal in my practice often represents mental energy. So here we are, we've got this metal tuning fork, and it's like we've struck the tuning fork, it's resounding and vibrating, and it's like we're trying to, you know, figure out, almost like the tune, the, what do you call those? The divining rods, like where's the next rule? What's the next thing that I have to follow? It's like we're trying to pick up the right frequency of something to guide us along the way to help figure this out. So this is what we are releasing. This notion, these notions that have all of these predefined rules on what love is supposed to look like, how we're supposed to do it, who we're supposed to love, all that kind of stuff. We're releasing the need to feel like we have to do that in order to do it right. We're releasing those feelings of like, what happens if I don't do it this way? And we're releasing the feelings of not feeling worthy enough to receive love. We're releasing those self-imposed conditions as well on expressed love and love turned inward on ourselves. We're releasing the effort. We're releasing the effort. So much thinking about how to do it, when to do this, who and how and where and what. So much thought, so much trying to conform. We're releasing the need to feel like we have to conform to our nurtured concepts of love. Thank you, QUAN YIN'S Pink Dragons. Thank you, Spirit, for helping me to articulate what we are releasing. We've recognized, this is coming through as I'm healing this symbol, we've recognized that something is askew, something does not feel quite right. You know, I'm being told not to have empathy or love expressed as a state of being toward this circumstance or thing, and doesn't feel aligned, not quite sure what to do about it. So that's what we're releasing, that need to feel like we have to figure out how to conform to that nurtured concept of how to move through that experience from a place of love as a state of being. So Spirit is letting me know, the QUAN YIN'S Pink Dragons are letting me know that the result of releasing this energy is we're just not going to question that state of being anymore. It's, we often talk about, like, when we remember our true nature, sometimes we talk about things becoming second nature, as in there's no thought behind it. It's instinctual in a sense. What I've learned recently, reframe for myself, that I am intentionally working on using, is we're getting back to our first nature, our truest way of being, right? So this is what we're going to be able to return to, our first nature relative to being love, rather than expressing love as an emotion. Being an expression of love rather than expressing love as an emotion. So on this day, December 28th, 2025, this tuning fork, yeah, there's this sense of, like, we just have to find the right circumstance, moment. All the stars need to be aligned for us to catch that frequency or whatever, to, find that right tone. And so much focused mental energy on that. So we're releasing that. We don't need to conform to nurtured constructs of love, frameworks of love, definitions of love. Love is our natural state of being when we are grounded and aligned with our true path and purpose, and with our essence, with our true essence of self, as souls having these human experiences. Love is a natural state of being. Love is a natural state of being. It is our first nature. And we don't need to conform. We don't need to figure out how to fit into those definitions, because those definitions do not serve the expanded capacity that is who we are as these souls of light, having these human experiences. It's limiting. Those definitions are limiting. So I'm just taking note of what that symbol is doing now, and it is releasing. as you're listening to this recording, as you're watching, Spirit is actually encouraging me to invite you to tune into your breath, and in whatever way feels aligned for you, tune into yourself as a grounding presence, a grounded being. So you can be inspired by nature, trees, tree roots. You can ask your higher consciousness, your spirit, your soul's light, your higher wisdom, higher wise self to help you to find your grounding, to show you an image or an experience that will help you to ground into this present moment. When I was preparing for this video, my spirit presented turtles to me as my grounding for today in this moment. And to show you how fun your imagination and your spirit can be, my grounding is turtles that are kind of on their hind toes and holding hands with their front feet, I don't know what you call them, and just kind of in a circle. And then they're standing on each other's shoulders, so it's like a column of turtles all the way down to the center of the earth. So you can have fun with it. It can be anything you want, whatever feels aligned. Just tuning into your breath. It can even just be a column of light or a frequency or a sound. Okay. So that intention and suggestion seems to be helping. It is draining now more easily on this day, December 28th, 2025. Fusing with golden healing energy. December 25th, 2025. Going into December with fusing. Okay, that symbol is clear. So, wow. All right, these messages, I feel like this was very intense. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling like there's a lot of healing and releasing going on with this. So be kind and gentle with yourself for the rest of this evening and for this week, and have patience with yourself. Don't forget to remember that TLC. Stay hydrated. If you enjoy taking a bath and soaking in a tub, sometimes Himalayan pink salt can help pull things out of your physical body, toxins and things like that. So just trying to tune in and see if there are any other messages. This is the longest message from the dragons that I've had thus far. So thank you for hanging in there with me for this video. I think we're going to stop here. And let's go ahead and welcome in this week QUAN YIN'S Pink Dragons. They really, really, really want to help us release on that deeper physiological level with our human bodies. They're so aware and so excited that we've been integrating our higher consciousness wisdom into our human experiences. And so they just want to continue to support that journey for us to help us with that deep release. All right, thank you so much, everyone. If you have any questions or concerns or comments, please don't hesitate to let me know what those are. I'd be happy to answer those questions, read those comments. Okay? All right. Have a good night, everyone. Until next time.